So it's quite a long presentation, so I'm going to whiz through it relatively quickly without actually taking too much time, hopefully. That's my name. I'm an ex-mastermind, member 26. That's it. Just a little bit about my, the slides actually was called Me and My Investment Journey, and I thought that's probably not quite accurate because I've also invested in stuff in crypto and Bitcoin. Disaster. Property investment journey is more like it, and it's a lot better than just normal investing from my experience. Excuse me. So when did it all start for me? Back in 1999. I was working full-time as an engineer, and I went to my pension provider, the guy who organized my pension, said, "When do you want to retire?" I said, 65. "Oh, you're not saving enough money. You need to put more into your pension." And that was back in 94, 95, when my daughter was a couple of years old. So you put more money, and then in 1999 I was with a company called Equitable Life, and basically the pension collapsed. I don't know if anybody has heard of Equitable Life at all. There we go. It was the oldest mutual company. The government tried to rescue it. Yes, I think I got about 30 or 50% back, but it certainly started my alarm bells to ring. So it's definitely a very good idea to start early. And that's when I decided to take a risk. In 2003, I bought my first buy-to-let. Am I going?
Sorry, it's car parked badly apparently. So CK13MDY. Don't know what type of car it is. So MDY. It's no good. Have you done it? Oh, no, you good? No.
Why did you need to go to the toilet?
Right, buddy.
No problem. Okay. Yeah, so basically 2003, I don't know if you remember, the interest rates then were relatively high. I'll show you a chart later. And within 4 months, the property which I bought for 60K at the time in cash, because I actually took a risk, I remortgaged my property, my home. And 4 months later, it was worth 110. It was just crazy. The guy who sold it to me actually bought it for 30K 2 years earlier. But anyway, that got me thinking, and that I certainly didn't sell it at that time. I took a buy-to-let mortgage at the time. It was 85% loan-to-value at that time with NatWest. And then the story basically never looks back. Attended PIN for the first time in 2015. By then I'd had quite a few single lets, but not an HMO. And certainly, thanks to Christine, who's in the room as well, I got understood what HMOs were, and I bought my first HMO. Haven't looked back since. By 2018, I had 7 single lets, not on my own, with my ex-wife, because we went through a divorce in 2018, and I did MM26. Now, I'm down to 1 single let and 9 HMOs. So, yeah, that's where we are. My strategy is to buy, refurbish, rent, and hold long-term. And my goal is just to retire and relax and travel, really. Let's see if I can do that. Okay, I don't know why I put that. Well, I do know why I put it, because I find it very interesting. What relevance does it really have to what's happening in the mortgage industry? And the interest rates is very interesting. But we're looking at, do you have a pointer here?
No. It doesn't work on the TV, to be honest.
Okay. Well, that's where the red line is when I started investing. And by then, I was always around the 4 or 5% of, base rate for the Bank of England. Then it dropped right down. Now it's gone right up, and who knows what's going to happen next? Nobody knows, but I don't know what relevance it has to buying a property in the end of the day, because whichever way you look at it, it's got to be, as long as positive cash flow, it doesn't matter what the interest rate is. So I have 2 case studies I want to run through very quickly. I don't know how much time I've got left, but is there? Okay. That's Lisa, my partner. She's been amazing as far as helping me for this particular property. I have 5-bed HMOs, 6-bed HMOs in the Norwich area. That's where most of my investments are. This is a little bit out of my comfort zone because it's in a completely different area. It's actually in Scunthorpe. Why Scunthorpe is a long story, but it's a professional let. And it's a very simple mini-mo. It doesn't really require a lot of work compared to the, extensions that you might want to get. So it's a standard ground, 3-bedroom semi-detached, which I bought. I'm only showing you the ground floor there because that's where the main work has happened. And all it is just basically blocking the kitchen door, opening it into the lounge, having a nice kitchen lounge diner. The lounge in the downstairs is bedroom 4. Oh, the key is high end. It makes a big difference. This is the property before, well, upon completion. It was in quite good condition, but it just needed a good makeup. New kitchen, new bathroom, and a bit of work. As you can see, work in progress. Some interesting pictures. There was an amazing floor right at the entrance, the wooden floor, which I just basically stripped down. I also broke a normal rule. I actually got involved in this one. I usually get builders to do it. And so I was right in the middle of it. And so last year has been an interesting year for me. A lot of cash going out. I actually bought 2 properties, one in Norwich, one here. And I was running back, and they're completed on the same day, 12th of June. And well, Chris will tell you, because Chris does all my lettings, and I'd highly recommend Chris for that. It was an absolute nightmare, shall we say. And at the end of every property, I say to myself, that's it, I'm not going to do any more. That's enough. And then a year or 2 later, something seems to happen again. But this time, I think I'm going to say it. I'm not going to do any more, but this is once it was ready. Thanks to Lisa, she's done an amazing job. Very simple touches, actually. I say very simple. Accents the walls. And the chair's color coordination. She's painted the radiators, one blue, the blue room, the red room, the yellow room, that sort of thing. Amazing, and what a difference it makes. Well, of course, at the end of the day, it's all about supply and demand, and the location of that one is fantastic, right next to the hospital. We have direct contact with the hospital, such that the accommodation officer calls us, please, can do you have any rooms? And some of the figures, I'll tell you about them in a minute. A few more pictures before, during, and after. And that's where you see the opening, and obviously went through building regs for that. And it made such a big difference opening the kitchen into the open plan kitchen diner. Okay, so the deal was just a 3-bed semi, a 4-bed high-end minimal. We were approached directly by estate agents. That's a great way of buying places, to contact estate agents directly. I bought a couple of them from Norwich that way. Sale falling through, I just snapped them or whatever price I wanted. Great way of buying. This one here was an EPCB. It's actually got solar photovoltaics. It's got a 5 kilowatt battery, so it's giving me, I think, roughly about £500 a year. It's on the FIT scheme, which started 2013 when they paid you like 25 pence a kilowatt hour. Purchased for a whopping 155k, which is actually quite high because you can get the block cheaper, to be honest. So, and it costed 50k despite my involvement. And I guess that's partly because it's a new area. I had lots of lessons learned from there. But the rental is £650 a month per room for the double bedroom, which is quite a lot. But it's high end, and it's right next to the hospital, and there's so much demand, so they just get rented so quickly. So despite that, it still gave me a 20% return on investment, which is not bad.
Which is really good.
Which is, yeah, well, it is actually very good. So that was case number 1. Case study number 2. Am I doing okay time-wise?
Probably overlap, but quickly.
Have I gone too fast?
Too slow.
Too slow? Okay. Where am I? Too slow. Whatever. If you're okay, you're okay. This is an interesting one. Just a few ideas. Anyone? This is a plot of land. This is my ex-matrimonial home, actually. It's a 0.6 of an acre, just outside Cambridge, and I had an allotment where you see the question marks are. But I already have an allotment across the road, so I didn't need the allotment anymore. What would you do? Any ideas? I mean, I'll tell you the story of what I've done, but if anybody has any ideas of what you'd do, what would you do?
Do it, put British often sell it as a building block.
You spot on, spot on. I tried to go down that route. I tried to get planning permission to actually build. And because there are so many new houses in the area, that for some reason it just was just too complicated. So I wasted about £1,000 with that. I tried it with the council, yeah. So I tried that. But it's
Brown envelope.
well, no, I didn't try that one.
So how about two ideas? One, storage containers, or two, put up an
I
annex.
did think about that. Yeah, well, that's absolutely, yes, an annex. That's an interesting one, yes. Okay, well, I ended up doing something, so I'll let you know what I did. I tried to get planning permission, like I said, for a detached or two semis or something like that. The parking was an issue. It would have meant restructuring such a beautiful garden. I really didn't want to get rid of the, okay, probably to attach to trees, but there we go. Didn't want to make too many changes to it. The building is actually, used to be a train station. As you can see, there's a guided busway that, right next to Cambridge, so it's used to be on a train line. So I wanted to keep the character. Plus, I didn't get the planning for it. So I ended up getting planning permission to build a garage/workshop. This is a picture, but it was a log cabin. Whoops, sorry. It's actually, that's what it is now. This is a real photo. So all it is a log cabin. 56 millimeter thick pine walls. Scandinavian pine, bespoke design. I put the suppliers designed it for me. I gave them the size of the plot. They told me what the base needs to be. So I got all that done. They came in as a kit. Three men, 2.5 days, and the shell was up. It was incredible. I didn't bring any photos, but it was amazing. I actually helped them put the gable right in the middle. It was very, very good. It's got 76 square meters of floor space. I pitched the roof such that it's 30 degrees, so I have the mezzanine in there as well. So this is what I got somebody to do the interior design for it, with some stairs. The actual final bit, the stairs was different, but in principle, basically it got split into a 1-bedroom. On one side, you've got a mezzanine with another bedroom. You've got an open plan kitchen diner. And perfect for my car, absolutely, exactly. Exactly. But it was. It's
de facto planning for it because you left it for a certain period of time.
I got it as a basically planning permission to build a garage/workshop, and building regs. So this is where it is at the moment. So that was about 2.5 years ago, maybe something like that. You go for what is it called? Change of use, eventually. Exactly. Yeah, when I get the chance, I will certainly do that.
Look at it for PD, are they going to say, it's an interesting garage?
Well, they say it's an annex at the end of the day, I would say, yeah. So really, I'm going to change it to an annex. It's got underfloor heating. Pardon?
Really nice.
It's lovely. It really is amazing. Yeah, you've got underfloor heating, 3 zones. There's a sauna. There's a far infrared, low temperature far infrared saunas. I don't know if anybody's heard of them. They're not the traditional saunas where it gets really, really hot. It's kind of halfway. And yeah, I have friends, family to stay over, and eventually I did it as an Airbnb booking.com. So I've been running it as an Airbnb booking.com thing, and I'm changing that at the moment. Since then, more pictures. These are pictures done by someone called Mark Ashworth, who's a professional photographer, friend of ours from the Cambridge Pen. He's very good. But the figures, I don't know how well you can see it. It basically turned roughly about £100,000. So what it cost in absolute total. In fact, it's really actually less than that. I just gave the kind of broad brush figures there. The actual structure itself was about 35,000. To put it up was about 1,500. So roughly about that.
From what I can see, you've done well there because you've got no neighbours who can sort of object to you using
Yes.
it as an Airbnb. Whereas I think if you did that in a more dense environment with neighbours?
Yes.
There'll be some questions asked.
There could be. If you go for, yes, no, I absolutely hear you. I'm very fortunate to be in that position. Yes, absolutely. But I mean, I suppose if you're in that position, that situation, if you go for planning permission for whatever you wanted, the purpose.
4 years, if you use that as an Airbnb for 4 years, I think you can prove that. I think you actually can do a retrospect. You can do a retrospective
They're getting rid of the 4-year rule. It'll be out.
Yeah.
10. Yeah, it's 10 years.
So should I wait? Should I wait another couple of years and go for change of use?
No, I think you can do PG.
No, because it was previously, as long as you've been using it for this year as an Airbnb.
Yes.
Still 4, I think.
4 years. Okay, that's great. Thank you very much for the tip. If you know any more information, maybe we can exchange contacts. Thank you. Yeah. So basically, they're very useful. Where am I? Okay. So this is how much roughly it's costed in total. I'm having a lot of fun with it. I'm very fortunate. I've got Mandy, who's my cleaner. She's amazing. She just does everything for me. So she has direct links with booking.com. She knows when the bookings are, and she's great. And if you need, by the way, anyone cleaner, I asked her. So if anybody in the Cambridge area wants cleaner, let me know. So roughly in the last 12 months, it's roughly about 24,000 is how much I've earned, which averages out to 2K. After the cleanings, about 4K, so it's not bad. Again, another 20% yield. But that's yield. That's not ROI because I don't have a mortgage on it. If you can imagine, in terms of revenue, I'm very fortunate. That's the website. I just bought it, Gresley Cabin. And if you scan any of these, you'll get directly to the booking. So if you want to book, I'll give you a good discount. But the reason I'm showing you this slide is something new, and anyone who's doing serviced accommodation might think about doing something similar. Ask them to put a Google review. They just scan that. Whoops, I think I lost that. They just scan the barcode and they go straight to the review, and you stick it on the wall. So I thought that was a good tip. What next? I'm getting close now. Yeah, I would like to promote direct bookings. I'm not sure if Google is a good idea. If anybody's got any experience with that, let me know. Google Ads, they give you...
Quite expensive.
It is, £400 they give you for free for the first 3 months, though. So I'm wondering if I can take advantage of that, see if it gives me anything. I'd like to upscale my existing HMOs, and I'd like Chris and Verity to hold me to account. That's it. So my aim this year is really to upend as much as possible. Spend as little as possible, please. But yeah, definitely do what I can and put in a little bit more effort. I'd like to go for passive income. It's really never 100%, no way. I mean, you've got to do something to it so that it ticks in its best shape. And yeah. Always challenge yourself to enjoy what you do, whatever it is you do. And that's what my aim for. And I think that's it. Thank you very much. Thank you.